into the breakout room shortly.
So I've recorded, I'm recording to the cloud.
Okay, can you click on me and
click on you and what?
Now, I do not know if Bruno is here with us. Milton. If Bruno is not here, we will not go to the breakout rooms. I think none of us can control them. So in such a case, the girls can copy
try
and
to make me a co-host and also teacher Eva. Try to do that.
I think I can't make you a co-host. I'm looking for that thing. I can't see it. Can a co-host
that can be
another
done by
co-host?
the host. No, it will be done by the host. So let's allow the girls to do, and we do in the general session till Bruno comes. Is that okay? So girls, can we use our books and we discuss? I'll give 1 minute for us to answer what is an angiosperm. I think there are some people ready to answer.
Yes, Angela.
Thanks. So for what angiosperms are, according to my research from the Longhorn secondary textbook for senior 1 of biology, it says that angio means enclosed. In angiosperms, seeds are enclosed in structures called fruits. Examples of angiosperms include maize, beans, and jacaranda.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone?
Yes. Nadia?
Angiosperms are seed-bearing plants. Are flowering plants.
Oh, there were 2 people answering there.
Yes.
Yes.
Angiosperms are flowering plants that reproduce by seeds. And angiosperms are seed-bearing plants.
Okay, I want us to first clear this. We have just said seed-bearing plants are all called spermatophytes. Whatever produces seeds is a spermatophyte. And we are saying the spermatophytes, that is the plants which produce seeds, are divided into 2 groups, the angiosperms and the gymnosperms. The first person gave us an answer where she said their seeds are enclosed in fruits. I think she mentioned something like that. I think that one is nearer to it. The most important thing to notice is that angiosperms produce flowers at a certain time in their life cycle. So they are what we call flowering plants. So their seeds are contained in fruits, and those fruits are formed from flowers. So every plant you see around you, which can form a flower at any time. Right now, it might not have a flower because it's not the season for it to flower. But if you have ever seen a flower on it, then that one qualifies to be an angiosperm. So simply put, we can look at angiosperms as flowering plants. Is that okay? So can we look at examples answers? Can we look at examples? Here we said mention 3 examples of plants that belong to angiosperms. But since we are in a general room, we have 10. So Rita, can you guide us? And we have about 10 people giving us examples of angiosperms, which are flowering plants.
Okay, Nasolo.
Yes, teacher.
Examples of angiosperms.
Maize.
Kalibala.
Very good. Maize does produce a flower.
Beans.
We are noting the, pardon? Kalibala, I didn't hear what you said.
Beans.
She said
Yes,
bean.
very good. These are correct.
Chiravo.
Let's have another one. Have 10 examples.
Mangoes.
Very good.
Chiravo, I
Mangoes
said
also
mango.
produce flowers. Any?
Louise.
Guava tree.
Yes, guava trees, guava plants. Yes. Any
Anita. Anita.
Maize.
Okay.
This was the first one we had.
Sophia.
Okay, there are very many you can think of.
Jacaranda.
Okay, Jacaranda.
Very true.
I stop it.
Jacaranda produces. I wanted 10. We have 200 girls.
Namubiru.
Can we have
Oranges.
very good. Another.
Lena. Jiweji.
Yeah.
Example of angiosperms. Pardon? Jackfruit.
Okay, girls, thank you very much. The list is endless. I think around us, maybe you just don't know the names of the plants, or most of the plants we see around are actually angiosperms. And we have agreed that angiosperms are flowering plants. So what is a gymnosperm then, if the angiosperms are flowering plants? Rita, could you admit Milton? Hello, Rita, you know, I can't hear you.
Hello?
Thank you very much. Now, girls, we are really sorry. In my place, it has even started raining, and I think it is interfering with the network. So that is our problem. Bruno.
Eva, had you asked a question?
No, Yes, I've asked what is a gymnosperm, and girls' hands are raised. Could you select them because I don't have host rights?
Okay. Namuli?
Gymnosperms are plants that do not bear flowers, hence making them non-flowering.
That is very good, Yonia. Actually, when we look at the spermatophytes, that is where we separate the plants into whether they can bear flowers or not. The ones which bear flowers are angiosperms, and the ones which do not bear flowers are the gymnosperms. Is that okay? Can we have examples of plants that you know are gymnosperms? Rita, you're going to select this one.
I'd unmuted Cynthia, but she has muted herself. Cynthia?
Pine trees.
Very good. Pine trees. We do have a pine tree in Gayaza. I hope someone has seen it. Can you mention where it's located? Anyone who has seen it?
Ndagano.
Cypress trees.
Oh, you're giving us another, yes, cypress and even the Christmas tree. I think that is the common name that we use. So that is what we can say about flowering and non-flowering plants. I'll show you some images we have so that we move on. I hope you've been writing examples. So starting with gymnosperms, we say those are the ones that do not bear flowers. We have that image there. I think it's a very common picture in our area. That is the one we call the pine. It is, first of all, a vascular plant. Then it is a spermatophyte because it bears seeds, but it will never have a flower. So instead, how and where does it contain its seeds? Even that, we have a tree as a high school. Many times we don't see those things, but those are the structures in which its seeds are contained, and we call them cones. Actually, some people refer to this group as, to many of these plants as conifers because they bear cones. So their seeds are not contained in flowers, but they are contained in cones. Images about the structures they use. If you've seen a Christmas tree, you see this structure here. You see that structure there, which its seeds are contained. And so it will never have a flower, but has those things. Those people who have Christmas trees at home, at a certain time, they develop those structures. All those are different types of cones that I'm showing there, which are produced by gymnosperms. But I am very interested in showing that structure. If you look at the tip, there is a point which is a bit yellow. In that structure, that is where the male gametes, the pollen grains, collect. In fact, if you find your Christmas tree with that part which has turned yellow, if you press it, now that yellow powder is the pollen, and it will go inside this other structure. It goes in the cone, and usually that is where it will find the ovules and fertilize them. So all those plants which do not bear flowers, but are vascular plants, we say, and they belong to the group called gymnosperms. Then let us quickly look at the other group. Okay, yes, let's first get to her question.
Teacher, Desire is asking to be put back in the lesson.
Oh, we have, okay, she's going to come back. I hope we are moving well so far. So we are saying those plants that produce seeds are divided into gymnosperms, which never produce
Yvonne?
flowers. And okay.
I had asked if you are moving on, but I can't view her screen.
You can't view my screen.
Yeah.
Rita, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Now I think
Now she could be having network issues. It freezes when your network gets bad. Let's pray the rain does not increase. Okay, I will proceed. So those are the gymnosperms. I want to talk a little bit now about the angiosperms. And girls, to help you remember which ones are the flowering plants, because these words are similar, angio and gymno. I want you to imagine angio is like for angels. Angels, I think we are told they are flowery, they are beautiful. Eh? So the one which is angelic, those are the ones which have flowers. May that help you to remember. Over there, I have a garden, a picture of a garden with so many angiosperms that are in bloom. They have flowered. As we said, there are so many angiosperms we can think of. Even around our homes, when we want flowers, we plant angiosperms. Now, the second image there shows a kind of flower that we rarely think about that it is a flower because it's not so brightly colored. The grasses we have at home, they usually have those good things up, yellow, something white and so on. And we do not recognize that those are the beautiful flowers of the grass. So grasses are also angiosperms, just like these others whose flowers are very, very obvious. So the flowering plants are also very many, and there's a wide variety of flowers. Some big, some small, some brightly colored, some dull colored, and so on. But all those are angiosperms. So we move on. Now we are going to go further. You notice every time we are picking one group and continuing with it. Now we are continuing with the angiosperms, or which we have called the flowering plants. This group we are going to notice has also been divided further into two groups. And which are the two groups? These are the ones we are commonly talking about: monocotyledonous plants and dicotyledonous plants. We are therefore supposed to have an activity to understand monocotyledonous plants and dicotyledonous plants. I hope our host is back and we can do this in our breakout rooms. But in the meantime, can we copy the questions starting from the second bullet? Copy down the questions quickly because soon we hope to get to the breakout rooms to discuss further. We can use other reference books, like I've had someone talking of Longhorn, but I am sure all of us have got most of us have got the learner's book. So we can use that also as a reference. So let's 1 minute for copying the question. Hello, Bruno.
Yes, Daniela, what's the question? Joy, unmute yourself. Joy Mary.
Where do the bananas lie?
But the bananas are angiosperms. Have you seen the inflorescence that is cut off on the banana fruit itself when you're letting it grow?
Yes.
That's the flower.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Nachi, good day.
Teacher,
What?
does it mean that every plant that has a fruit is an angiosperm?
Every plant that has a flower.
Okay. Yes, teacher.
It's about the flowers. Of course, we know that flowers, their ovary does what? When fertilized, becomes a what? A fruit. So would say logically that it will be an angiosperm, eh?
Okay, teacher.
But it's about flowers.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Okay.
Okay, Rita, are they down the questions?
I don't know. Somehow they disappeared from my screen. So I don't know whether they have also written them down.
I can share mine. Akugiziwe, can you stop sharing your screen so that I share? Elizabeth, please stop screen sharing so that the teacher can share her screen. Rita, Milton.
How does she share? It has already, it's a A.
Okay, thank you. Rita, please help Milton.
Yes, yes, yes. Somehow I unmuted someone else. The one I unmuted, Nagendo, mute yourself.
Okay, so those are the questions. It seems Bruno is not here. We are going to have them answered here. So girls, can we open our reference books and share those answers? We now want any 4 characteristics of monocotyledonous plants.
Finally, I can talk.
There is another. Girls, can we answer those? Then for 1 minute, you put down your answers, then we share.
Yes, this is time for you now to put answers together, girls.
I unmute all of them.
No, I think what we can do, let's give them time to find answers by whatever means. Then maybe after 5 minutes, we start a discussion.
Yes, that's better. That's okay.
So girls, the screen has the questions, find the answers, then we discuss.
Teacher Eva, question number 1 and number 3. the activity number 1 and number 3. I think they are the same. So I think question number 3, it's supposed to be dicotyledonous. Girls, let's check on that before teacher Eva comes and makes that clarification. Activity number 1 and number 3, they seem to be the same. However, I think for activity number 3, it is dicotyledonous. So girls, take note of that as you put your work together. Okay, girls, if the text is so small, you can zoom out by yourself. Huh? You can zoom it out by yourself on your gadget. If you're using a smartphone, you can simply use both hands to zoom.
I think some hands are up. Wonder why.
Banane, I can't find where those hands are supposed to be.
The hands are, click on the participants. Click on the participants.
When I click,
participants.
when I click on participants, I see only one person.
You tell them
No,
to lower their hands. You can lower their hands automatically.
No, I don't see that list. I see only you, Crescent, because I last wrote to you. So where do I get that whole list again?
You go to participants.
That's
click
where
on
I went.
You were on chat.
It's still participants.
When you click on the participants, you will see a list of the participants with their hands up. Some of them seem to be frustrated that their hands have been up for some time. Even teacher Eva, can you unmute teacher Eva? Her hand has been up. Unmute teacher Eva, because she's the one controlling the class. Teacher Rita, you've not seen it? Yeah, because the girls cannot even talk to us. On your screen, are you using a laptop or a smartphone?
A laptop.
Okay, I think she doesn't have the other area where there's security.
Okay, now I've seen the list. It has popped up.
Now, can you first
let me get
go to the teacher before you go to the participants?
Good.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Please lower your hand.
Now, Nasolo, what's your question?
Click on.
Tell those who have been answered to lower them.
Yeah, okay, I've chosen Nasolo to ask.
The characteristics of monocotyledonous plants are: 1, they have parallel veined leaves or parallel leaf venation. Then they produce seeds with 1 cotyledon, and then they undergo hypogyl germination, and then they have a fibrous root system.
sorry, I didn't hear all the answers. I had parallel leaf venation. Can someone repeat loudly for me?
Anita?
They undergo hypogel germination.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't hear the first answers, but let me first emphasize. When we ask for characteristics, yes, undergoing hypogel germination is correct, but not so correct because they don't keep undergoing it all the time. When it comes to germination, yes, they'll undergo hypogel, but if you were given a plant, how can you tell that it is a monocotyledonous plant? That is our question. From the first person, I had parallel leaf venation. Unfortunately, I didn't hear the rest. So can we increase that list of the things you would see to make you identify the plant as monocotyledonous?
Okay. Bafumba. Bafumba John.
Petals. They have dark colored petals. They have dark colored petals.
No.
Really? That would not qualify. You will find, unfortunately, some dicotyledonous plants with dull colored petals. So that one cannot make you easily recognize. Maybe I will guide the answers. We have talked of parallel leaf venation. What about their seeds? How many cotyledons do their seeds have? If you got a seed of a plant, how many cotyledons do you expect to see in order to qualify it as a monocotyledonous plant?
Louise?
Their seeds have one cotyledon.
That is very good. Another aspect we can look at is their roots. What is unique about the roots of monocotyledonous plants?
Our default.
They have fibrous root system.
Very good. Now, someone might ask us, how can you know that this is fibrous? If you look at a plant and you find that all its roots are almost the same size and they are coming from the same point, very many coming from around the same point on the stem, and they are the same size, then that one qualifies to be a fibrous root system. We can talk about their flowers. Someone told us that their flowers are dull colored, but instead we are interested in the petals, the floral parts. If they are petals, sepals, they are in multiples of what? Can we check quickly in our notebooks? Someone give us an answer to that.
Yes, Nalule. Nalule. Aisha. Alicia. Pardon?
Okay, it seems that is not clear in our books, but we shall see it in the next slide. I want to go further. Their leaves, usually the monocotyledonous plants, their leaves are usually long and narrow. And as someone said, their leaves have parallel venation. Examples of monocotyledonous plants, had we given them? Can we have quickly the examples of monocotyledonous plants? Abigail, unmute and answer. Okay.
Maize.
Pardon?
Maize.
Yes, maize has come frequently. So finally, we have reached where maize ends up. It's a a monocotyledonous plant. Abigail, I've unmuted you. Could you also give us another?
Millet.
Very good. Jovia. Jovia, I've unmuted you. Okay, we'll go to Walakida.
Sorghum.
Sorghum, very good. We expected 4 examples. When you look outside your homes, which very common monocotyledonous plant are you seeing in the compound? Nicole. I tapped Vanessa. Can Vanessa tell us?
May you repeat the question, please?
A common monocotyledonous plant around our homes. Think of the diantha. Very good. The grass is a monocotyledonous plant. So there we have examples of monocots. Before I share my next slide, which is summarizing this, we will quickly go over the characteristics of dicotyledonous plants. Mr. Chebet corrected that mistake for question number 3. We want characteristics of dicotyledonous plants. So can we share what you got? Again, I'm selecting Chirabo. Your hand is up. Chirabo, hope you need.
They have 2 cotyledons.
Yes. Where are those 2 cotyledons? On top of the plant?
No, they have 2 cotyledons. It's their seeds, yes.
Perfect. So when we are answering, let's be clear. Their seeds have 2 cotyledons. Ikiriza, can you give us another characteristic?
Dicots have broad leaves with net venation.
Okay, we call it network venation. Thank you. That is very true.
Sorry, yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Primrose, Mutamba, another one. You can talk about their roots. What is unique about the roots of dicotyledonous plants?
They have a taproot system.
They have a taproot system. Again, here I want to emphasize, someone will say, how do I know taproot? When you look at their roots, you notice there's one large root usually at the center, a main root, and it's from that root that there are smaller roots branching. If a plant has that kind of roots with one main root, which has several lateral roots, lateral means side, which has several lateral roots, then that one qualifies to be a taproot system. Before we leave the dicots, can we quickly have on dicotyledonous plants? Again, I'm picking from hands that are up. Adeke.
A bean plant.
Very good. Chloe Mkwanzi. Lunkuse.
Groundnuts.
Very good. The list can be long. The example, Nasolo. Oh, sorry. Nasolo, can you give us an answer? I've unmuted you.
Pumpkins.
Pardon?
Pumpkins.
Oh, yes. Huh? Yes, the pumpkins are tricky. Yes, the pumpkins qualify there. Have you seen their roots though?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let us share the following slide because it seems we are almost running out of time. I'll go to the next slide to wrap up this. And the next slide shows us the summary of these 2. So there I have the characteristics of monocotyledonous plants and dicotyledonous plants. And we're saying, if you look at their seeds, The ones of monocotyledonous plants have one cotyledon, while the seeds of dicotyledonous plants have got two cotyledons. Please, when you're answering this, be specific that cotyledons are in seeds. When we look at the leaves of monocotyledonous plants have got parallel veins. By parallel veins, we mean veins that do not meet. The ones of dicots have branched veins forming a net. So we call it network venation. In your books, you have the leaves of monocotyledonous plants are long and narrow, while the leaves of dicotyledonous are broad. Now I asked something about flowers and people are not mentioning. I want you to take time this weekend and look at the flowers around. Can you look at the flowers and tell whether it is monocotyledonous or not? We are saying, if you get a flower whose parts are in multiples of 3s, they could be 3, they could be 6, they could be 9, they could be 12. Those are multiples of 3s, but they rarely straight up 12 parts. For example, if you look at the pink flower drawn in the diagram, you notice its petals are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, multiples of 3. So that means that is a monocotyledonous plant. On the other hand, when we look at the dicotyledonous plants, their parts are in multiples of 4 or 5. You see the one drawn here has got 5 petals. That can tell you, so it's possible to give you just the flower until you can tell whether this is monocotyledonous or dicotyledonous. That is how you can tell. So girls, enrich your answers. Then when it comes to the stems, now at this level, we have not yet looked at the stems, but if you got a stem and cut through it, and then you make what we call a transverse section, if you can cut not along its length, but somewhere in the middle, and you look at that, it has been shown that in the stems of monocotyledonous plants, the vascular bundles are just scattered. You see those small dots inside here? Those are the vascular bundles scattered in the stem. But for the dicotyledonous plants, the vascular bundles are arranged in a ring. You can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. They are arranged in a ring. Then when it comes to the roots, we have just said that monocots have got what we call a fibrous root system. Many small roots, many same-sized roots coming from the same point. That is what we call a fibrous root system. And then for the taproot, you see this one big root in the middle, but it's got several smaller roots getting from it. This kind of arrangement is what we call a taproot system. So girls, I expect us to enrich our notes. Add those points you hadn't written so that we have more. Now I see some hands are up. Let me take the questions. Where are the hands? Some people raise. Okay. Wandawa, can you ask your question? Okay, she's not there. Nakaliowa, can you ask? Nakaliowa, unmute and ask. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I had left my hand up.
Oh, sorry, put it down. All those who raise their hands and do not have anything to say now. Great. Sophia, can you unmute and ask your question? Okay. It seems we don't have what. I want to go quickly to the end of our slides so that the questions could come up maybe later. We are going to take a take-home activity because we have finished with this topic or subtopic.
Hello? Can you hear me? Teacher Eva, can you hear me? Teacher Rita? Hello?
Yes, Crescent.
There is some questions in the chat. I thought we needed to also look at them. Some people asking about adventitious roots and the like.
Excuse me, teacher.
At Konda Vanessa. Yes, please.
I just wanted to ask, what do you mean exactly by vascular bundles? What are those?
We are going to study that in the next when we deal with flowering plants.
No, we mentioned.
I can't hear you.
Teacher Eva, could you repeat?
If she mentioned them, then we can describe them. Are you hearing others?
Those plants which have got conducting vessels, xylem.
Or if I are going to repeat that.
I hope that. Pardon?
Please repeat.
Okay, I'm repeating that in the last lesson, we saw vascular plants are plants which have got vascular or conducting tissue in them. That is xylem and the phloem. Now, the xylem and phloem within the plant occur in bundles. You have one bundle which has xylem and phloem, then another bundle with xylem and phloem, and so on, many bundles within the plant. So each of those bundles is what we are calling a vascular bundle containing xylem and phloem. For now, that's what we can say. So we are saying the bundles which are located in the monocot are scattered within the stem, but the ones located in the dicot are arranged in a ring outside. Okay, not outside. They are arranged in the form of a ring. I hope
Teacher
that makes
Eva.
it clear.
Teacher Eva.
Yes, please.
Please show them slide 11 to bring that concept.
Okay.
It is there. Those vascular bundles.
Oh, I didn't start the slideshow. Okay. Okay, from current. Okay, that is the thing we are saying. Eh? So if you look at the stems, we are saying each of these circles inside here in the middle is a vascular bundle, and in it, it should have xylem and phloem. If you see the vascular bundles of the stem of the monocot, they are arranged, they are just scattered there inside. Eh? But then the ones of the dicot, they are arranged in a ring. That is what we mean. I hope I've answered that. Crescent and Rita, I don't know if you had emphasized the homework.
No, I didn't say much.
Okay, we have put it up just in case I go off again, although the rain has stopped. Each of you girls is going to construct a flow chart for identifying organisms in Kingdom Plantae. You write it in your book. The different groups we have had. So you're only mentioning the names of the groups and how they are arranged. I know in all our classes, we saw how to construct a flow chart. Is that okay? Then those who have computers and can get permission to do some work on the computer, can you draw that flow chart on your computer? You will share it with us at the beginning of the next lesson. We shall get, I think the first 5 who will come early will to share all of us, and we see the flow chart that you managed to construct. In case you're not very comfortable, go back and revise what we did before we broke. Constructing a flow chart. So Chris and Rita, you can continue with the questions.
Good day.
I'm sorry, teacher, but I don't understand exactly a flow chart.
But
What
you
stream are you?
1K, Rita, you taught me. So Gladys, can you consult with your friends?
Okay, teacher.
Yeah, because I know your friends studied it and know it. But the main thing I can say with the flow chart, you're showing how this one group, Kingdom Plantae, goes on being divided further. I don't want to unpack the answer. If you get to a group and it can be further divided, again, split it. Is that okay? I know that guidance should help you.
Yes, thank you, teacher.
We are 7 minutes into the lesson. Are there any questions we cannot leave?
Kahoga. Charity?
Excuse me, teacher. About the float, does that mean that we should not? Shouldn't have.
I'm hearing you,
Charity. My question is about the float chart. Since you say that we include the groups only, does that mean that we should not put examples?
At each point, you can put some examples in brackets. It's very okay.
Okay, then I also wanted to ask, there are these plants that bear flowers, but at their flowering stage, they don't bear fruit. That's where at the end they are like for decoration. So where do those flowers fall?
Those plants, as long as the plant bears flowers, then it is an angiosperm. Now you can get that angiosperm and tell which group of angiosperms it belongs to, whether it's monocotyledonous or dicotyledonous, by seeing its characteristics. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you, teacher. Yes.
Hosanna?
Although it's time.
Yeah.
So I can say,
Excuse me, teacher. Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, Hosanna.
I have a question. My connection was breaking, and I missed a few points on characteristics of monocotyledonous plants. Only wrote the one of leaf venation and about the root system.
Yes, if you check in on page, what is that page? Page 39. You have all the characteristics of monocotyledonous plants and dicotyledonous plants. Now, I do appreciate today network has disturbed us, so we are going to upload this PowerPoint presentation onto the Google Classroom. Is that okay? Because anyway, the answers which you need to beef up your characteristics of monocots and dicots will be found there. I hope that helps you, Hosanna. Rita, Hosanna is either not there or something. Can we wind up the class? So girls, thank you for paying attention. Have a lovely